Here are 9 common mistakes to avoid. We want to make sure that we take care of these things probably 2 months in advance. For example, if you're thinking of refinancing or purchasing a home 2 months in advance, you want to avoid large deposits into any of your bank accounts. Anything that's not payroll related will be scrutinized. If you have a deposit of $100 or more into any of your bank accounts that you've disclosed to me, for example, a Chase or a B of A, we will ask you to source where did that money come from. Basically, the lender wants to ensure that you are not acquiring any additional debt that has not been disclosed. Number 2, you want to avoid moving money around from any undisclosed accounts. If in the prior example I had a B of A and I had a Chase, I will ask you for 2 months bank statements, the most recent ones. But if in those bank statements I see that there is a deposit or a transfer from a Schwab account, well, guess what? Now I'm going to ask you for the Schwab account, 2 months bank statements from those, and then we will scrutinize those as well, looking for large deposits, anything over $100. To avoid you having to supply us with more documentation, you want to ensure that you're not moving money around from those accounts. If you're going to do it 2 months in advance, possibly even 3, as much in advance as you can, so that when we do get the bank statements that you are going to disclose, we see the beginning cycle has, let's just say, $100,000, and the end cycle is $100,000. There are no deposits there other than your payroll, of course. Number 3, if you are self-employed or you have a business account, you want to ensure that whatever monies you are going to use for your down payment, if this is a purchase, that you do it 2 to 3 months in advance. The lender does not like to use or have the client use any money from their business accounts, as they don't want to jeopardize your business. So you want to make sure that the monies that are going to come from the business account get transferred over 2 to 3 months in advance, so that when I do get the bank statements again, we are not seeing any transfers from any accounts, and we're not requesting any additional documentation. Number 4, if you are receiving a gift from a relative, and by the way, only a relative can give you a gift for a down payment or for principal pay down, we want to ensure that that gift stays in the account of the donor. It is the easiest and cleanest way to do this. Can they give you a check? Can they give you a cashier's check? Absolutely they can. But to avoid you additional documentation, in this case, we would have to ask the donor for their bank statement, 1 month's bank statement from them, if they were to issue you a check. To avoid that additional condition, we want to make sure that we do not get the monies from them. We will transfer the money from their bank account into the title bank account at the very end by wire, and this will avoid you having to go back to your relative and asking for a bank statement. Number 5, please do not open any new revolving accounts. Any inquiries on your credit will bring your FICO score down anywhere from 10 to 50 points. So you want to ensure that if you are being offered a credit card, that you do not open up a new credit card. Do not let them run your credit, as this will represent an inquiry, and an inquiry, even if you do not get the credit card, will pull your FICO score down. The inverse is also true. Do not close any revolving accounts. What's a revolving account? For example, a Visa, a MasterCard, a department store like a Nordstrom's or a Macy's. You want to ensure that anything that revolves, that you pay off and then you use again, those credit cards have the most impact on your FICO score. You want to ensure that you do not close or open any of those. All right, number 6, please do not engage in any dispute 2 months prior to your transaction. If you have a charge that does not belong to you, go ahead and dispute it, and then 2 months later you can get into the transaction. If there's probably a way around this, one issue, however, I have seen it a couple of times in the last 6 months, where we found that there was a dispute that the person was doing because the charge was not theirs, and the lender suspended the loan, waiting to see what the resolution of that dispute was, because it could impact your debt to income ratios. So in order to not get your loan suspended, you want to avoid any disputes. You want to perhaps maybe do it afterwards or before your transaction. And then the next one is, please do not make any large purchases We are taking all of your information and providing it to the underwriter. And if you do anything after we've provided the information, then it's going to impact your loan. If you purchase a car, if you purchase a flat screen, if you purchase anything on your credit cards, your debt to income ratio is going to rise, and that is then going to impact your loan negatively, possibly. The next one is, please do not switch jobs immediately before your transaction. We will have to wait until you get your pay stub to be able to provide to the underwriter. So at all cost, please avoid switching jobs. If it's in the same industry, it's going to be okay. We are going to experience a delay in that loan just because we need to wait for a pay stub to be generated before we can continue. So these are the 9 common mistakes to avoid. If you have any questions on any of these, please by all means give me a call at 650-303-9779, and I'd be happy to discuss with you. Thank you for listening and watching.